someone being hunted in the Appalachians, and a woman who received a returned letter from herself that she didn't write. We have some crazy videos this week. Another week, another weird and creepy compilation. In case you missed it, here's a roundup of all the weird and wild videos I've been sharing on all my other socials. If you see a TikTok that you think should be included in one of these videos, be sure to go tag me. And just a reminder, the Glitch Community Plus members here on YouTube get early access to videos, which means they get to see these videos a day or two before anybody else. If you'd like to become a member, you can click the join button next to my profile picture. But right now, let's get started. So sit back, grab a snack, and let's get weird.
This person got texts from another version of themselves, and I honestly thought that this was a prank in the beginning, and then at the end, I was like, maybe it wasn't a prank? Watch this and let me know what you think.
Okay, so this happened to me around 2 summers ago, and to this day, I still can't explain it. So, I was walking home late at night, must have been around 11:45, so it wasn't like too late, but quiet. And, you know, it was the kind of silence where you feel like somebody's watching you. It was eerie. Yeah, that. It was that kind of feeling when I was walking home. As I'm walking past this bus stop that's, not really used anymore, I notice that there's something glowing underneath the bench. So, naturally, I'm curious, and as I got closer to it, I noticed that it's a phone. It's unlocked, so anybody, can access that phone. There's no wallpaper, there's no case, but it's just a black screen with one, message notification on it, and it was just glowing up. That was the only thing there. There was nothing on it. Okay. So, I just totally walked past it. Of course I didn't. I naturally, like anybody would, I went over, I picked it up, and I looked at what was on it. And here is where it gets really weird. I clicked on a message and it said, "Turn around." And I swear to God, I actually do. But, obviously, there was, no one there. Nobody was around. It was just me walking home. So, okay. Me being me, just laughing it off, oh, okay, this is somebody's stupid prank. Nice one. Ha ha ha. As you do. Maybe it's like one of those really stupid, random AI text messaging app things where they try to get you. I don't know. But it could have been anything, right? But as I went to go and walk again, the phone buzzed again. Another message came through, so I clicked on it, and it said, "You're walking the wrong way." Yes, you heard that correctly. Someone was watching me, and they were letting me know that I was walking the wrong way. So, obviously, naturally, curiosity wins. And I decide to write back, as you would, who is this? And this is where I start to freak, because the typing dots then came up, and the message said, when it finally came through, "You." I'm not even joking. I'm throwing this phone into the nearest bin as soon as I speed walk past it, and I'm speed walking the rest of the way home. But this is the part that still gives me the biggest amount of chills to this day. When I finally got home, I walked into the kitchen and I see my own phone on the kitchen counter, dead. So I put it on charge. But when it was finally fully charged, the last text message that I read from that phone, my phone, it was, "Who is this?" Sent at approximately 10:49 p.m. to my own number.
This person and her brother both lost 30 minutes, but they were in different places in the house. This is really weird. I have no idea where their time went. Let me know what you think.
And all my life, I've had exactly one experience for which there is no logical explanation. It's my own little glitch in the Matrix moment. And it's really not dramatic at all, but it's crazy because it also happened to my older brother at the same time. And 25 years later, we both remember it and we both agree there is no logical explanation for this. And my brother is literally the most skeptical person I have ever met on the planet. So I'm like 12 years old. I'm doing my homework in front of Toonami. I don't remember what the shows were, but the show that I was watching ended. My brother says that Batman was about to come on and then Courage the Cowardly Dog was coming on after that. So the show I was watching ended. I pay attention to my homework while I'm waiting for Batman to come on, and at the same time my brother is walking his girlfriend outside to her car because she has to leave for work. Girlfriend says bye to me as they're walking out the kitchen door. I look up, I say bye, I look back down at my homework, I look back up at the TV, and the credits for Batman are rolling. I'm wildly confused, and the only thing that I can think is that there must be like a glitch at the network. Somebody forgot to rewind the tape before playing it because it's supposed to be 4:30 and Batman comes on at 4:30. So I flip to the TV Guide channel wanting to confirm that Batman still comes on at 4:30, and when I flip to the TV Guide channel, I am surprised again because it is not 4:30 as it should be. It's 5 o'clock somehow. I'm staring baffled at the TV. I hear the kitchen door open and close again. There's a pause, and then my brother shouts from the kitchen, "You too?" I look up and he's pointing at the clock on the oven, which also reads 5 o'clock, and I say, "It's supposed to be 4:30. And he's like, "Yes, it's supposed to be 4:30. I was like, "Katie leaves for work at 4:30. You just walked Katie out, right?" And he's like, "Yes, I literally just walked her out. Let me call her." He calls his girlfriend. He's like, "This is going to be a weird question, but how long ago did you leave for work?" And she's like, "I left half an hour ago." And he's like, "No, I just watched you drive away." My brother and I both lost the exact same half an hour, and we agree 25 years later that there is no logical explanation for us both losing that half an hour. Even if it had been like a freak carbon monoxide leak and we both briefly lost consciousness and then magically came back, there was magically a breeze that revived us and saved our lives, that doesn't make sense because I lost the half hour in the living room and he lost the half hour in the fucking driveway. My mom and my other brother weren't home at the time, and I guess Katie must have driven off before whatever happened because she didn't lose any time. But me and my oldest brother both agree. 25 years later, no idea what happened to that half hour.
I was tagged in this video like a million bajillion times. This person got a letter returned to themselves, like returned to sender, returned to their house, that they wrote and sent out, but they didn't write it. It's crazy. Watch it. Let me know what you think.
If you believe in the glitch in the Matrix stuff, will you stick around and give me your opinion? You might have to speed me up if you don't like slow talkers. So I got a letter in the mail today. It's marked return to sender, and there is a lady's name that I've never met and don't know who it is in the for spot, and then my full name and full correct address in the return spot. So it was returned to me. Has a stamp and everything. On the back of the card, when it was sealed, it said, "To my dear friend," and it had little hearts on it. Super cute. So I opened it, as one does. It was a homemade card for Tina. And when I opened it, it's this very long letter to Tina. It's a heartfelt message about how, like, basically they were friends. Whoever wrote this and this Tina were friends way back when. It has a very specific story where it talks about when they were bowling and they ran over an old Marty's foot. At one point she says, "I'm not writing this to reopen old wounds or rehash the past, just to say you matter, you still do, and I hope life is treating you with the kindness you deserve." Sweet message, right? It is marked from me. And then probably the most unsettling part is that it says new number. And this that my finger is covering is my real cell phone number. I did not make this card. I do not know who Tina is. This is not my handwriting. The stories in here don't make sense. We did our own internet searching because we know how to do that. The woman's name in the for spot does exist in the town that I live in. She seems to be about like 15 to 20 years older than me. And her Facebook page doesn't look like it's been active for 7 years. At least that's what I can observe. Like, her Facebook profile changed 6 years ago. She made a post that was public 6 years ago. Maybe it's just all private. I don't know. And the address that was returned from is a true apartment complex in the town that I live in. Two, but clearly like she doesn't live there or whatever. But somebody is impersonating me. Obviously not doing a very good research job because they sent it to an address that doesn't exist. But someone decided to use my name and my address, write a very heartfelt letter to Tina. Sorry, Tina, I don't know who you are, but included my cell phone number. My husband thinks it's a scam, as one's husbands do, because they're logic. Not so logical. I am convinced it's a glitch in the Matrix. That another version of me, if you don't believe in the glitch in the Matrix stuff and like how like there's like different timelines, I sound crazy, but this feels crazy, so I'm going with a crazy answer because nothing else makes sense. The letter looks like it was written by me, but I've never seen it before in my life. It looks like it was written to Tina. I've never met Tina before in my life. I don't know who she is. I did Facebook message her and like sent her all the pictures of everything with my phone number, so that's probably not the best choice. But is this a scam? Is my husband right? Or is like another version of me and this woman who's like 20 years older than me friends, or they were friends? I don't know. I need an answer, and I'm starting to think that paranormal is the only way through this.
Was this person seeing some sort of like interdimensional beings? Because that's what I think that these things were. Let me know what you think after you watch.
Alright, so I'm about to go to bed, but I wanted to ask, do you want to hear a scary story? And I'd be very curious to know if anyone has a similar story. So, when I was about 4 years old, my mom and my aunt dropped me and my cousin off at this couple's house. And they were supposed to babysit us so that they could go out, and they were going to come pick us up the next morning. So, we go to their house, and they have these two daughters, and me and my cousin we're taken to their room because it's nighttime and they're going to go to sleep. And the one girl sleeps on one side of the room and the other one sleeps in the other. And they have these little twin beds. And one of the girls is like, oh, you want to come and lay down with me? And then the other girl's like asking my cousin, you want to come lay with me? So we both go and lay down in these girls' beds. I wake up on the living room floor. I'm no longer in this little girl's bed. My cousin's nowhere to be found. And I'm laying on the floor on like a mat with a pillow. And this is where it gets really weird. There's like hundreds, if not thousands, of these kind of purple, pink, fuzzy looking things. And they're all over the floor, like crawling around. They're crawling up the walls. I look up and like it's all over the walls, the painting that this woman has, I guess, over her fireplace. They're everywhere. Thousands of these like fluffy, purplish, dark colored looking, I don't know, creatures, you know? They were almost like spiders, but not. And I couldn't physically feel them because they were crawling all around me, on me, but I could see them. So I start screaming, and the woman runs out, and I'm like, there all these things are spiders. And she said, no, they're not spiders, don't worry. Like, she acknowledges that they're there, but she said they're not spiders. And so she's like, come on, I'll take you to the girls' room. And I'm like, where's my cousin? And she's like, oh, she's laying in my bed, don't worry about it, which was weird too. And so we go, and she drops me off with the daughters again, and one of the daughters, the same one that I had laid down with, was like, do you want to come lay down with me? And I go lay down with her, and I'm laying, like her bed's up against the wall, and I'm got my back turned to her, and I'm looking down on the ground watching these things, because they're in their room too, but there's less of them, and they're crawling around on the floor. And I asked the little girl, like, what are those? And she says, they won't hurt you. But she doesn't tell me what they are, and granted, I'm like a little girl, I'm 4, I think I'm around 4. And I'm watching these things, like, and one of them dives and hits the wall. It's like goes flying over and then hits the wall. And then it's this little tiny, like, box shows up where it hits. Guys, I feel so crazy even saying this. But it looks like the box looks like a black and white miniature, like this big TV screen with a man talking inside of it, almost like a newscast person. I don't hear what he's saying, but he's talking, and then it like fizzles out and disappears. I look over on the floor again, another one does it, flies over, lands on the wall, and does it again. And it happens over and over again. And that's kind of all I remember until, like, I know my mom and my aunt came and picked us up in the morning, and they came and got us. I remember trying to explain what had happened, but the lady tells my mom, like, oh, Cammie had a nightmare and woke up, and she was really upset. But that was pretty much it. Like, everyone just thought it was a bad dream that I had. But here's something weird. So, when my older daughter, she's 17 now, was about 6 or 7. I saw her on the floor, kind of like crawling around, like smiling at something, and I'm like, what are you smiling at? And she's like, it's so cute. It's got these little legs, and it's like a purplish, pinkish, black color, and it's just hopping around. I'm like, what? I don't see anything. And then she looks up into like the corner by the ceiling, you know, where the wall meets up in the ceiling. And she's like staring at it and smiling and going, oh, it's so cute and little. And I was like, I rebuke that in Jesus' name. I told her, don't follow it around. Don't mess with it. Don't talk to it. Don't, whatever that is, like, don't do that. And I didn't want to scare her or freak her out because she wasn't, you know, like me. But I saw thousands of whatever these were. I don't know if it was the same thing that she was seeing, but it was definitely strange that she was seeing something that kind of sounded like what I had seen. So I rebuked that. I told her to rebuke it. I was like, please don't mess with stuff like that. But, you know, I know some people will be like, oh, stuff like that, it's harmless. Or some people will say, Cammie, you're crazy. It was a dream. But it wasn't a dream. I know it wasn't. I've always felt in my heart that it was never a dream. I don't know what it was, and I don't have an answer for it. But if you've ever had something similar, please comment down below, because no one has ever shared anything like that with me before other than my daughter. So I'm very curious about anyone's thoughts on that.
I am literally convinced that cats go through portals. I'm so serious about this because they will come out of nowhere. Like, this happened to me the other day. We thought we lost our cat. We searched every nook and cranny, and this bitch came out of nowhere. I really think they go through portals, and this kind of proves it. This person had a very different UFO experience than is normally talked about. It's very cool, very interesting. She wasn't scared. Listen to this. Let me know what you think. I think that she may have actually encountered a plasmoid, but that is my take on it. Let me know what you guys think.
Hey, so do you want to hear a really cool experience with a UFO that I had? This happened maybe 2 summers or 3 summers ago, and the only people I've ever told is like my close family. One, because this is not the normal UFO experience, and I don't know, I've never seen or heard anyone else talking about it, and so I don't know. Okay, so here's the deal. I was on my way home one night, and I live on a dirt road. I live in the country, and as I was getting close, I'm actually going to show you because I'm at the spot, and this is reminding me of it right now. So I'm going down this dirt road, and up here it's going to take a left. When I get about right here, I hear I should, once I get around this corner, start looking for my Archangel Michael star. This is the brightest star in the sky from where I'm at. It looks probably like the North Star maybe. It's big, it's beautiful, and I named it that because one time Archangel Michael in a meditation was saying to me that he was big and powerful, and he could literally move the stars and moon closer together. That he has that power, but so do I. So do all of us. And I was like, okay, you know, macho man. And I was just kind of joking with him. Well, that night, I literally watched this big, huge, bright star, biggest one in the sky, getting pulled closer and closer and closer towards the moon. And I'm just sitting here. I stopped in my car just watching this, witnessing this, and I'm like, that's you, isn't it, Archangel Michael? And he's like, yeah, you know, see, you are this powerful too. We all are, okay? And I was like, all right, that's what's up. And so ever since then, I named it Archangel Michael. And so when I get right here, I had a sunroof in my old SUV, and the windows down. It was summertime, and I'm starting to get around this corner. Right when I get around it, and I'm going to show you, it's a pretty clear path. Hopefully you can see it. It's a pretty clear path, and it's straight ahead. And I look for the stars. So I start to look up. As I start to look up, though, I see above me from my sunroof this flash or some type of light coming at me. And I'm like, oh my. So as soon as I look up in my sunroof, I see what looks like a rainbow, like what you would see in the sky, a rainbow. These colors mesh together, like there was no like line separating this color from the next, okay? They like these colors flown together. It was a rainbow color. There was no shape to it. I cannot tell you a shape. It was like a flash of colors and lights. But I will tell you that this is gonna sound weird, okay? I will tell you, when it flew over me and it was really close, like it came down straight over my car, flew straight down the dirt road, but over the trees at this point, and it flew up and just disappeared, okay? But this thing was small and compact, okay? It was the size of my car probably, because I'm telling you, it fit through these trees with no problem. And then when it got to the end of this road, it flew straight up over the trees. So I'm telling you, this thing had to be very small and compact. But it was all made of color. And this is kind of the odd part. It kind of reminded me of like liquid or plasma. The word plasma is coming to my mind right now, so this must be kind of them saying it to me, because it seemed like how if you put like water colors in a line and then how they would just flow together, it almost seemed like a liquid. Like, I know that seems so strange, and this is not the normal UFO story, right? I've never heard anyone say anything like this, but this is what I witnessed. It was beautiful, and it was so exciting. Like, I remember as soon as I seen it and I felt it, like, the energy that came off of it was like, hey, old friend, I see you. You're not alone. Because I was deep in my awakening at this point, you know, and I was going, you know, so seeing this was just like so amazing. And I just felt this like very kind of giddy, childlike energy, very excited, but it was like a wave from an old friend. I remember you, and you remember me. It was that type of feeling. And I watched it just fly off, and it was just like, boop, gone. Like, done. It was just done. It was that fast. I've always told my, like, family about this because, again, I've never heard anyone saying anything like a rainbow color, liquid plasma looking thing. Very small, very compact, can fly very fast, but the thing is, it slowed down. So this thing was conscious. This thing knew what it was doing. It was not a damn drone, okay? This thing was conscious. It knew what it was doing. It slowed down right over my car to where my human body could process it and see it. And then as it sped up, it was like a lightning flash, you know? But it slowed down enough where I could see and witness it. And I will say, ever since seeing that, I have had, the only thing I can, how I can word this so you might understand what I'm saying is, have you ever heard of past life regressionists? People who, they put you in like a hypnotic state, and then you can revisit a past life if you believe in reincarnation, which I know it's real, it's what I believe. And after that, I had started having visions, and these were not induced. These happened organically, and they were intense, and that I will tell you guys that story if you would like to know this as well. They were intense, and yeah, and they were just invoked. They happened after seeing this. So if anyone else has experienced anything like this beautiful rainbow color object that can fly, that can go fast, that can slow down, that wanted to be witnessed, I would love to know. I would love to know. And I've been feeling this on my heart for like a week to like put this into the collective, and if anyone else has seen this, or if you feel resonant with this, to comment, let me know. I've been feeling like I should make this video and put it up, and it's kind of funny, I'm actually just now realizing this, but on that same piece of dirt road, oh my gosh, so I asked the beings that flew over me in this object, whatever it was, I asked them about a week ago, I said, if this really happened to me and I'm not totally freaking batshit crazy, will you please give me a sign? And you're right. Oh my gosh. So I seen a double rainbow, oh my god, 3 days ago, a double rainbow over that spot. I actually have pictures to prove this. Holy crap, it's all coming to me, and now I understand the significance of it. And then yesterday over my house, I seen again a double rainbow. The first day it wasn't raining. Yesterday it rained for like a quick second and it was gone. But I seen a double rainbow. And the first time I seen it was over that passage of road. Oh my gosh, that was their sign that yes, this happened. Wow. So please let me know what you think. You know what? I'm going to try to figure out how to insert that picture of the rainbow. My videos are always just straight. I don't edit. I don't do anything to them. So I'll try to figure out how to do that. Holy crap. That is so cool now that I'm thinking about it. I love you guys. If you've had any experience with this, please comment, let me know, and tune into the energy with me and see what you feel. Who do you think that was? I get the very real feeling that it was Pleiadians, to be honest. I really do, and that's just my own feeling. Now, everyone might tune into that image and that feeling, and you might get something different, but for me, I really feel like this playful, like, old friend, hey, Pleiadian energy. I don't know, though. So if you guys would comment down below. I'm gonna quit talking now. This is so long. I love you guys. Bye.
Did this person catch like an interdimensional being on their Ring camera? This was pretty cool.
TikTok, I need your help on figuring out what this is. I saw something on camera and I can't explain what I saw, so I'm just gonna have to show you. For reference, this was my mom's Ring camera. What you see on video was not detected by the motion sensor. She found it while she was going through each frame from last night. Okay, watch. Right there. Wait, I'm gonna zoom in. Right there. Okay, keep watching. It has a shadow, so it's physical. What is that? Keep watching. Keep watching. It appears and disappears. Look at this. This is a screenshot of something that appeared in front of my mom's porch. That does not look like a bug or a frog. That's not anything in front of the lens of the camera. It has a shadow. It casts a shadow. To me, it looks like that's a leg. That's an arm. That's an arm. That's a head. And this maybe clothing? A tail? What is that? There's the shadow. What is that? It appeared and it disappeared. It didn't walk. It didn't fly. It is frozen in place and then it disappears. So then what I did was I uploaded the video and the photo to ChatGPT, and I asked it what it thinks this is. And here's what it said. Summary: Ring camera anomaly, analysis and conclusion. You shared a Ring video showing a small human-like figure that appears suddenly without entering from any side, is frozen mid-motion, upright in a walking stance, casts a clear shadow on the concrete, confirming it was grounded and not near the lens, vanishes within seconds with no visible movement or exit from the frame, shows no signs of flapping, hopping, or glitching, and isn't transparent. You also noted your Ring regularly picks up bugs and frogs, and this looked and behaved completely differently. It was solid and eerie. After analysis, I concluded this was not a bug. Wrong shape, too far from the lens. Casts a shadow. A frog. No hopping or movement. Upright posture. Shadow too tall. A lens artifact or glitch. Solid form. Casts a shadow. Too grounded. A ghost. In the traditional sense, no ethereal transparency or historical spirit cues. What it most closely matches. The behavior of the figure aligns most closely with reports of a brief interdimensional appearance, a phenomenon observed in cases where something from a different realm, dimension, or reality momentarily intersects with ours. These sightings often involve sudden appearance without entry, a still mid-movement posture, a complete disappearance with no exit, a visible form that defies typical motion detection or camera logic. Why this theory fits. It had a solid presence confirmed by the shadow. It didn't move like a physical animal or person. It didn't follow natural rules of entry or exit. The stillness suggests it was out of sync with time or briefly crossing through. These types of phenomena are often caught by cameras, not human eyes, due to differences in frequency and perceptual filtering. Final conclusion. I believe this was not a physical creature, but a rare instance of dimensional overlap, an entity or form from another realm that appeared briefly in our space. Your Ring camera caught it because it was looking without bias and because the conditions aligned just enough to reveal something we normally don't see. This doesn't suggest danger, only that reality might be much more layered than we're taught to believe. I need you guys to go back to this video and rewatch it and tell me that this isn't crazy, because I can't stop thinking about it.
I'm pretty sure that this person met somebody in their soul family, which is like really cool. It's a cool story. Listen to it. Let me know what you think in the comments.
Glitch in the Matrix story time. This is something that happened to me about 15 years ago, and I have not been able to stop thinking about it ever since. A little bit of context, I am a complete skeptic. I am the least woo-woo person that you will ever meet. I'm not even particularly spiritual, and I don't believe in ghosts. I don't really even believe in the zodiac. So this is crazy because there's literally no explanation for it. And really, the only answer that I have is that glitches in the Matrix are real. So to set the scene, about 2010, 2011, one of those years, I don't remember exactly which one, I was headed to a happy hour with my boyfriend at the time, my now husband, at his workplace. It was a happy hour for employees and their spouses at a restaurant downtown. And we were dressed up, we were excited to go and get our drink on the company dime, basically. So picture this, it's early 2010, so I got my peplum on, I have my pencil skirt on, probably some uncomfortable heels from Baker's, and get to the restaurant, and from across the room, I see this woman. We make eye contact, and we immediately run to each other, basically, practically jumping up and down with excitement to see each other, be reunited. I just had this intense feeling that I was so excited to see her again after so long. And here's the thing, we had never met, ever. We had never met in our lives. We spent the next 2 hours trying desperately to figure out, like, how did we know each other? Where did we meet? We had absolutely no connections. We dissected every possible moment of our lives that could have brought us together. We talked about every class that we had ever been in, every school we'd ever gone to, every job we'd ever had, summer camp, places that we went to the doctor, stores that we usually went to. Did we have any mutual friends? But no, she had grown up in Texas. She was in her late 30s with kids, and I was 25 with a boyfriend, and I had grown up in New Mexico, had never even spent any time in Texas at all. So there was absolutely no connection there. But, you know, even if we had somehow figured out that, like, one of us had worked at a job where we had, like, seen each other, you know, waiting a table or, you know, behind the counter at a deli or something, that wouldn't explain the fact that we both had this deep mutual feeling that we were being reunited after a long time. So the night ended. I didn't get her information. I don't even remember her name. I did remember at the time, but I never kept in touch with her. I did look her up on Facebook. At the time, I was one of those people that, like, added everybody that I knew in my life. So I had like 1,500 friends on there, but I didn't have any connection with her whatsoever. No mutual friends, hardly even anybody in the same city. You know, the only thing that we really had in common outside of this deep feeling that we knew each other was that our significant others worked at this same company. So we didn't become friends in real life because we didn't know each other. It must have been us in a, I don't know, you tell me, parallel universe, multiverse. I don't know any of the terminology, but there truly is no explanation for it. And this is something that's been bothering me for the last 14, 15 years.
This person's son remembered being reincarnated, remembered his past life, and he would talk about it all the time, and all the things he said were actually very true. And this is a crazy one. Listen to it. It's long. There's like 2 parts, but I put it into one for you. So let me know what you think in the comments. I love reincarnation stories.
Hello. Yeah, it's Friday, so happy Friday. We made it. I made it. I've been down with a bad back all week, so that's been super fun. But I'm getting better, getting stronger every day, so that's good. Back to dancing in no time. But anyhow, this video is going to be about reincarnation. And my son is 12, he's going to be 13 this year. And when he was 2.5, he told us about a previous life. And I don't think back then too many people would have been too receptive about listening or hearing about it. But I think people are now. I think people are ready to start talking about these things, and I find them really fascinating. And I think it's just really important for our evolution and our growth to start really questioning, you know, our soul's purpose and finding a deeper meaning to life. So I'm going to try to do this. I'll probably have to do it in 2 parts because it is going to be lengthy. Yeah, but anyways, it started off, he used to say a lot of things. When he first started talking, it became apparent that there was something. He was very fascinated by trains, and to the point where it was an obsession, and he would continually design with his wooden railroad tracks the similar incident where the 2 trains would collide. And when I say obsession, I mean an obsession. Like, that was all he wanted to do, and he was so hyper-focused on trains and recreating the same incident. And when he started talking, he would say things to me like, when I was your age, or when I used to work, or I remember the time when I was doing this with my family, which had nothing to do with us. I was like, what family is he talking about? And he could barely talk. Like, it started happening when he was about 2. He also would not call his dad. He would talk to him like he was his father and say, excuse me, Jesse, I'm talking, or you don't do that, Jesse, or, you know, when I was your age, Jesse. So yeah, it was a very odd situation. We didn't really know how to handle it. He would also get up in the mornings and be looking for something. And I'd say, what are you looking for? And he said, my chug boots and my pants. I need them for work. So, you know, I was like, you don't have chug boots, and I have no clue what chug boots are. Anyways, that went on for a long time. And one night we went to a birthday party, and it was probably about midnight or so, and he was a regular scheduled sleeper. He was always in bed by 8. And that night we had stayed out late, so he was really overtired. It's weird because I even feel nervous talking about this. But he did give me permission to speak on it. Anyways, so he was overtired, and we crawled into bed, and he co-slept with us. So with each of us on one side of him, he was in the middle, and he was almost like he was in a trance, like half asleep but still awake. And he said he was really mad. And I said, what are you mad about? And he said, I'm very mad that one minute I was working and I was on the train, and the next minute I woke up and I was in your stomach. He said, I didn't even get to say goodbye to my wife or my children, and I'm just mad because I miss my family. And why are you my mom? So yeah, he was able to give me the description of the accident, the location, his name, his family's name, his children's name, his job. And at that time, it would have been impossible for him to have that information from any book or any video or anything. Like, it would be virtually impossible. And the crazy thing is that I actually found out the details of the accident, the location, the people involved, and the family. So I'm going to do a part 2 on this. I'm going to stop here just so that it doesn't get so long. And if you want to watch the rest, I'll do part 2. So this is part 2 about my son's reincarnation story. If you watch part 1, I'm at the point where he had given me the family's names, his children. He named them all. He named his wife, gave me her nickname even, and I was able to find them and locate the information on them. And the incident, the timing in between the accident, what he described was a train accident. He was on a train, and he said that his boss had said, it's time for you to go, and he stood up, and then suddenly he was gone and he was inside me. And he said he wasn't ready to go. He was very upset that he didn't get a chance to even kiss his wife goodbye. And we didn't really know what to do. I was quite scared, to be honest, because he was born angry. So that happened. He was 2. It would have happened in August of 2015, and then he would have been turning 3 that November. Literally came out and was angry. And I struggled a lot because I felt like he was not accepting me as a mother. So yeah, it's been a wild ride. And it didn't finally happen. He started losing the memories of it. I never pressured him into learning or keeping it, and I'm not sure if that was the right thing to do or not, but at the time I just felt like it was best for me to carry on normally and not really nurture that. I wasn't sure if it would confuse him or not, and maybe that wasn't the right thing. I don't know, but he started losing the memory of it by the time he was about 6. But between those years, between 3 and 6, he talked about it a lot. He was obsessed with trains. He was obsessed with the accident. Like, this is even an example. My mother-in-law is an artist, and he saw this photo in a book and asked her to paint it, and said he loved seeing the flames And he loved this one because it reminded him of himself. So yeah, he that's been a reminder hanging on his wall. But anyways, I did find the family. I have never contacted them. I never felt like it was the right thing to do, to disturb their family, or to, like, how do you even begin to say, like, hey, my son is talking about your husband. But I did find them. They do exist. I'm not going to say the dates or the places or anything out of that because of their privacy and for people to go looking for this incident. The timing between the time that he passed away, supposedly in this train accident, to the time that he was born was about a decade. Give or take a few years. 333. So I guess the reason why I wanted to talk about this was just because when I started going down this journey, spiritually, I've always been very spiritually guided, divinely guided, and that just threw me on a whole nother train track. So, I hear about a lot of kids and stories of people talking about their children about this, and I just wanted to share because I have been silent about it and not knowing what to do with this information, but I feel like people are more receptive to this right now, and I feel like it's also something that, like I said, is just gives us a better understanding of life in general, that we're here for a purpose, and that I do believe that we come back and that our souls are eternal. It's just fascinating. It really opens up a whole new perspective on life. Sorry, it's really heavy. Okay, now that I've had my big cry sash, it's all of a sudden hitting me, I guess. Oh, jeez. And I think, we're going to start remembering things and remembering past lives, and just don't be scared if you do. Because once he opened up to me, it opened up a whole string of events for my own life. And remembering many past lives. And it's all been just super interesting. And if you have anything that you'd like to share, I encourage you to do that. Just to give people permission to be able to start speaking about this, because, I think we're going somewhere with all of this, and it's amazing. And if you have any information or anything that you'd like to share in the comments, I'd love to read it. I find it just super fascinating, and I'd like to find others that have experienced something similar or are starting to experience these things, just to help us all feel a little less alone. Anyways, that's it in a nutshell. I mean, there's more information that I could share, but I'm going to leave it at that for now. Happy Friday. I hope you all have a fabulous weekend, and thank you for sitting here listening to his story.
This person went on a house call where there was like legit possessed haunted dolls, and one of them moved, and I literally can't. I can't with dolls. Nope. Watch it, please, but just don't. Nope.
I used to do house calls for a company that no longer exists anymore, and I used to do house calls in homes in the hills of the Appalachian Mountains, and I mean no cell service, no GPS, people living off the grid, sometimes don't have electricity, sometimes don't have running water. Like, I am off the beaten path, dirt road, navigating by map, right? And some of the things that I have seen in these homes can't even be explained. I can't even be explained. For example, there was one time I was driving to this house, actually had to drive through a graveyard, up this dirt road to make it to this home on the top of a hill. And and knock on the door, and this old lady comes and gets me, and we walk into the house, and immediately, I can tell it's like a hoarding situation, right? Like there is stuff stacked from the floor up to the ceiling. Like you can't even see when you're turning around a corner what's going to be there because the opening is so narrow. And immediately I'm like, okay, fire hazard, this is concerning, we're gonna have to consult social work, like this is a mess. I don't know how she's living here. We finally make our way down the hallway, and at the end of the hallway there's a sitting area, and there's actually no clutter in the sitting area. There's like a table, there's a love seat, there's a recliner, and then there's like 5 dolls, like my size Barbie height-ish, standing in a half circle around a TV, and the TV is on. And then there are 3 small rocking chairs, children-sized rocking chairs with 3 figures sitting in them, appear to be like dolls, right? And she takes a seat in the love seat. She tells me to go ahead and take a seat on the recliner, and I start my assessment. Like, I'm asking her, when was the last time you saw a provider? Like, do you go into town to see a doctor? Is this the only time you see anyone during the year? Like, are you on any medications? And she stops me and she's like, hang on, can you turn the kids around? And I'm like, turn the kids around? Like, what are you talking about? She's like, can you turn them around? And she points to like the dolls. And I was like, no. The vibe was already creepy. I already was like very weirded out by it. And I just say, no, I'm not allowed to touch, any personal property in the home while I'm doing the visit, and just continue to proceed asking my questions, like to kind of play it off and like hope she just forgets. And she stops me and she goes, you need to turn them around because they like to watch. And I'm like, up until this point, I didn't, like, there was no reason for me to believe this person was not cognitively intact. Like, they didn't seem like, woohoo. So I'm like, again, I politely decline. I go on to do my job. I'm looking at her, I'm asking questions. I turn my head. Tell me why one of the doll-like things has now moved, and it's now halfway turned towards me. And I know that it has moved because it was the first thing that I noticed when I walked into the room, how peculiar it was that they were all standing in like a half circle formation looking at the television. They were like dolls. So I know it was out of place when I look back at it. And I had asked her, is anybody else home? Who do you live with? She tells me that she lives with her nephew. Nephew is not home. He is at work. And immediately chills. Like I could feel it at the base of my spine, like moving up. Like hair on the back of my neck standing up. It did not feel right. And so I pivot because I'm doing her blood pressure now and like asking her about some of her medications. So I'm at a different angle and I see that these things sitting in the rocking chairs are doll-esque, like doll type-ish, but they look like little old people. They have like old people faces and they're dressed in baby clothes. And again, she says, turn them around. I said, no, thank you. And she said, they are getting angry. Stop. They are getting angry? What do you mean they are getting angry? By this point, I'm just trying to remain professional. I am trying to remain unshaken. I'm here to do a job. I'm going to provide that job. I'm going to do an excellent job at my job. But on the inside, I'm freaking out. And she says, okay, why don't you have a look around the rest of the house? She's like, I'll show you my other sitting area and whatever, because I always, if someone has like a hoarding situation or whatever, I want to make sure that, we get social work in. I'm concerned about fire hazard and etc. And so she's leading me around the house and we get to a staircase and she goes, you can't go up there. And I'm like, okay. And she's like, no, you can't go up there because that's where my nephew lives and he keeps his things up there. And I'm like, all right. And I start to notice a very, very distinct odor. I'm assuming from somewhere in that general vicinity of the house, like the upstairs area. And I had asked her about it. I'm like, there's an odor. What is up there? She's like, oh, I don't go up there. That's my nephew's part of the house. It was at that point where I was like, no. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's bodies. I don't know what's up with these dolls. So obviously I consulted social work. I completed my job. I completed my visit. I did not take my eye off that doll again. And then I went to leave the house. I opened the screen door. I'm saying my goodbyes. I'm thanking her for having me and telling her what I recommend that she do. And she grabs my wrist as I'm walking out the door. Doesn't say anything, just grabs my wrist. And I said, did you need something else? And she's just standing there, holding onto my wrist. And I said, okay, all right, goodbye. And I like pull myself away from her. And she's just staring at me. I left. Luckily, I was just about done working in that area. Never had to go back to that house again. Don't think I would. Don't think I would. The way the hair on the back of my neck stood up, unreal. I sent social work into the house. They can sort that out. I will never forget that. I will never forget that house. I will never forget that doll. That doll, I still dream about it sometimes. The way the doll had like turned around to like try to look at me. No, man. No. I've seen some shit doing house calls out in the mountains. I've heard some shit. I've heard some whistling. I've not done some whistling, but I've heard some whistling, and I'll tell you what, if you see it, no you didn't. If you heard it, no you didn't. But that day I saw some shit that I didn't want to see.
This person experienced a weird glitch in the Matrix that has her baffled. Watch it and let me know what you think.
So I have a story for you guys today. I firmly believe that I experienced a glitch in the Matrix. I just want to put that out there. Sounds crazy, but I feel like I did. So I was coming home from the grocery store. I called my son because it's sprinkling outside. I have a hurt knee, tore my MCL, tore my ACL, barely started walking without my hinge brace like 2 weeks ago. Don't want to take any risk, possibly fall, nothing like that, right? So I called my son and I said, hey, I'm heading home. I'm like 5 minutes down the road. Do you mind opening the garage for me? He's like, it's raining outside. I said, no, duh. That's why I'm asking you. Go open the garage for me. She's like, but I'm not home. I'm at his little friend's house. And I said, okay, well, I'll pick you up. I said, I'll be there in like 5 minutes. He's like, no, don't worry about it. I'm just going to run to the house really quick and I'll go ahead and open the garage for you. And I said, okay. So I pull into my neighborhood. The house that my son was at was obviously before my house, right? So I stop and I say hi to my son. I say hi to my little boy. And my little boy's like, Mom, can you tie my shoe? And I said, yeah, for sure. Let me tie your shoe really quick. So I tie his shoe. My older son's standing in the garage with his friend. And he's like, I opened the garage for you, Mom. I said, okay. So I go ahead and I take off and I turn down my road and I get like I'm going down my street, and I live at the end of my street, right? I live in a cul-de-sac. So my house is the last house that I see. And I'm looking at my garage. My garage is closed, right? So the way I have to pull into my garage, because I always back my car up, I pull up and then I do a little turn, put my car in reverse so that way I can pull back in. And I see my garage is closed. So I tell Siri, hey Siri, call Noah Bear. Siri tells me, call Noah Bear Mobile. So he answers and I said, Noah, I thought I asked you to open the garage for me. He's like, I did, Mom. I said, no, you didn't. The garage is closed. And he's like, no, Mom, I did. As soon as he said, no, Mom, I did, I look in my rearview mirror and my garage is open. Okay, opened. I don't know how that even happened. Okay, because when I pulled down my street, I'm looking at my house, my garage is freaking closed. I wouldn't have called him and said, hey, I thought I asked you to open the garage for me. But as soon as he said, no, Mom, I did, I look in my rearview mirror and my garage door is open. And he's confused. I'm confused. I don't know. Has anybody ever experienced this before? Seeing something and then looking in a mirror and then what you thought you saw you didn't actually see? I'm just curious. Let me know.
This person was being like haunted by something in the Appalachian Mountains somewhere on a house call. This is the same one that had that possessed doll house call story. Apparently, she used to do house calls in the Appalachians, so weird shit happened all the time. This one was really, really scary. And hold on, there was this weird part about a sandwich, and you'll understand it like when you watch the video, but this comment made so much sense. As someone born and raised in these mountains, the sandwich was to let the one outside know you were off limits to harm and let you leave. Keep that in mind when you're watching this story, because I didn't understand the sandwich part. Was like, what the heck was the sandwich for? And she said the same thing, but this one is so crazy and scary. You need to watch it. Let me know what you think.
I used to do house calls in the hills of the Appalachian Mountains primarily for people that live like off the grid. They didn't have telephones. There's no Wi-Fi. There's no GPS. You use a map. You use the compass. And the company that I worked for doesn't exist anymore. I don't work for that company anymore. But all of the stories I have are very interesting. Based on true stories. Of course, I have to change some things because of anonymity. But when people say that there are strange things in the Appalachian Mountains, I didn't believe it until I actually worked in the Appalachian Mountains. Here's one of those events, for example. I was en route to a patient's home, and as I said, I have a lot of patients that are off the grid, or they live in very rural communities. So I'm driving down a road, and I make a hard turn onto like a side street, I suppose you would say. And there's a single car length bridge. This is important. And I go about 5 minutes past that bridge, and it takes me to another small road where there's a house, okay? So obviously it didn't take me very long off of the main gravel road to get to this person's house. And like I said, I don't have a GPS, so I really have to pay attention to where I'm going, and how long I've been on this road, and like landmarks, so that I can find my way back. It's the middle of the afternoon, and when I arrive on the property, there's a barn straight ahead at the end of like this drive, and then the house is far set to like the left, and there's like a field in front of the house, right? But it looked like I was supposed to park in front of the barn. That's where the gravel thing ended, so I figured I'd park here and I'll walk to the house. I don't see any other houses around or anything, but I hear that there's people around because I hear like kids playing. And so I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of nice. You know, it's a beautiful day outside. I heard someone call out to me. They said, hello. And I, you know, am still getting stuff out of my car. And I say, hello, I'll be there. Just, you know, give me 1 second. I'm getting my things out of the car. And then I turn, and there's like a car that looks like it's been parked there for a while. And I know this because there's like weeds and brush growing up around it. And there's a gentleman that's walking out from behind the car. Looks like he was tinkering on it or something. He was wearing like denim overalls. No shirt underneath. Nothing particularly interesting about this guy. And so I turned around and started heading to the house, and I don't see anyone, so I'm like, well, they must have said hello and then gone back inside. I don't know, maybe they're getting their medications ready, getting their paperwork ready for us to review it when I get in. And I knocked on the door, and the person comes and collects me. And she said, oh, I didn't see that you had arrived. You're a bit early. And I said, oh, am I? Sorry, thought I heard you call out to me. And she said no. And I was like, okay, fluke, whatever. So we're doing the visit, and we're almost done with the visit. It's still early afternoon. And I get to asking this person, I always ask, who do you live with? And she had said, oh, you know, I live alone, and I own like 100 and some acres. And I was like, oh, so like nobody else lives on the property with you? And she says no. And I said, well, I like thought I heard kids playing outside, and I saw a man like doing something with that car out there. Like, does he work for you? And she looked at me and she said, it's out there. And I was like, the car? Yeah, it's out there. It's at this moment I realized that I don't think we're talking about the car. And she goes, you have to go. I'm like, I have to go. I'm like, you know, pardon me, but I'm not quite done yet. And she said, it's going to rain, and if it rains and that pass that you came through, that dirt road gets wet, you won't be able to leave. And I'm like, it's not going to rain, like it's a clear sky outside. She says, I'll fix you a sandwich. Things are happening quickly, like it's kind of bizarre. We go from having a nice visit and talking to, you need to leave now. And I'm still confused as hell, because she's telling me that she lives on a property where no one else is, and I just literally heard people outside and saw a guy on her property. So like, I'm not understanding what's going on. She's consistently saying like, you have to leave, it's going to rain, you're going to get stuck, you won't be able to leave. Okay, so she hands me a bag. She says there's a sandwich in it. It's like a mesh bag that you keep like potatoes or onions in. She just threw like a baggie in there. She said it was a sandwich. So I'm talking to her while she's making the sandwich, and she's telling me that I need to go and get back on the road. And I turn, and it's dark outside. And I don't mean storm cloud dark outside. I mean it's dark outside. It's the middle of the afternoon. And she hastily, I'd say hastily, walks me to the door from which I have come, opens the door, says goodbye, practically pushes me out and closes the door. Now I'm standing in the middle of the afternoon. That was a sunny afternoon on this person's porch in the pitch black with a sandwich. I still don't quite understand the sandwich. What do you want me to do? You want me to bargain with Paranormal Patrick out here for my life? Exchange a sandwich for the skin that he wants to take off and wear like a glove? Not gonna lie, I'm tweaking out a little bit. I'm like, what is going on? Everything was fine. So, like I said, I have been in interesting situations before. I have no Wi-Fi. I cannot call anybody. My car is parked, remember, across the field next to the barn, past several cars that are parked on this property that I just saw someone walking by, and I see nobody now. So I do what anybody would do. I pretend that I'm walking on a target. I am unbothered. I keep a steady pace. I do not stop. I keep my head straight ahead to my car. And I can tell you clear as day, there is somebody walking. There's somebody walking parallel to me. And you could, like, I could feel it. Like, I could feel somebody looking at me. It gives me goosebumps. I don't know if you can see the goosebumps, but like I can still, oh yeah, you can. I can still remember, like, somebody's in this field with me. And how the hell is it this dark outside? I'm not gonna lie, I dropped the sandwich. I'm like, I don't care. I'm done. It gets quiet. From the point that I'm walking from the field to my car, it is quiet. No crickets, no frogs, no nothing. But you know what I can hear? The sound of jeans. The sound that denim makes when someone's walking. At this point, I'm like, don't run. Don't run. Don't run. Just keep walking like you're walking out of Target, get to your car and leave. I get to my car, I get back on the road, I start driving. And I'm waiting to see this bridge that I came in on. Because remember, I told you I make note of landmarks, I know how long I've driven on this road because I need to get back to the main road, which means I need to remember how I've come. I'm driving on this road in the dark for like 20 minutes. And there is no main road in sight, and this is the only road that enters this property. Like, that, I couldn't have made a wrong turn. I'm driving down the road. Eventually I get to like this, I wouldn't say brick, it's like this stone underpass bridge thing. I drive under it. It's maybe a little tunnel. I drive under it. It's pitch black on the inside. I get to the other side. It's daytime. And I'm sitting in my car like shaking, trying to make sense of this. Like, how is this possible? Like, weather? No, weather does not explain it. She's like, it's going to rain. There was no rain, okay? That wasn't clouds. That was night, okay? That was night. That was pitch black, middle of the day. I've encountered some strange things on this job, but I can tell you that really felt like being hunted. That was an interesting feeling. And to this day, I still don't understand the sandwich. I don't understand why she was so insistent on making me leave with this sandwich. But it didn't come with me. I dropped it on the way to the car. I was like, absolutely not. This is just too weird. This whole thing is so weird. Now, like I said, I worked this area for quite some time. I kind of knew my way around. I kind of knew what roads were shooting off the main gravel road. I could find my way to different side streets, if you will. And this was the first time I had seen this patient. It's the first time I had been off this road with the bridge. And I actually went back that way to drive past it to see another patient again. And I could not, for the life of me, find this road. Like, it's like it wasn't there. There was like rock formation, like a part of the mountain that you would drive, you would turn around, and then it would give way to this little road that I got on, and I passed over this bridge and made it to this woman's property. And I never saw that road again. I know you probably think I'm absolutely crazy, but I never saw that road again. The Appalachian Mountains are not for the weak, y'all. I mean, I can't explain it. I know it's kind of an odd story. It's kind of anticlimactic. Nothing happened. But, like, I can't explain it. If you live in the Appalachian Mountains, have you ever heard of something like this happening before? Like, I know it sounds silly, but what do you mean the road's not there?
This person has a video of like this demon baby thing in her house. She has a bunch of stuff. She tells this whole long story. She has so much that has been going on in her house for so long now. And she has this video. She has some other videos too of like toys making noise and turning on by themselves and things like that. But I posted this somewhere else and people are saying it's not anything paranormal and that it's a cat or a dog, but I do not think that. So please, you watch it and you let me know what you think.
If your children are having night terrors, if they're waking up in the middle of the night screaming, freaking out, I need you to watch this. Whatever your beliefs are, this is what I experienced. Everything makes sense now. So a couple years back, my baby was maybe 10 months old. I already had suspicion that, you know, my daughter started talking to somebody, like saying hi to things that are like 7 feet tall. Everyone says like, oh, it's just a common part of growth, or maybe it's because you and her dad are fighting. I just blew it off. Her toys would just go off by themselves. And I have like a post on Facebook and I'm like, hey guys, does anyone know like why this would happen? And a lot of people came up with these answers like, oh, it's the radio waves. And some people are saying it's designed, like those toys are designed to draw the attention of the kid. So I just let it go. I thought that maybe it was just designed to do that. Or maybe it was the radio waves. I just didn't pay much mind to it. But it didn't just happen once. It happened multiple times. I have multiple occasions on camera where this happened. So I'm sitting in my room one day. I remember this day specifically. I'm sitting here breastfeeding my baby in my room one day, and this bowl just flies off the shelf. And I'm thinking maybe the upstairs neighbors are bouncing around and it like, I don't know, fell off that way. Both of my dogs are sitting on the couch. They get up and investigate. They just they didn't really pay much mind to it. Dang it, man, dang. I had a Cox camera through Cox. And I recorded that moment. I went on the camera and I'm like, you know what? I don't see anything. I don't know what caused that, but no big deal. I'm gonna screen record it just in case I see something in the future that I'm overlooking now. And grateful that I did, because fast forward 1 year. Oh, mind you. Around this time, my daughter was having night terrors. And when I say night terrors, I mean like she was waking up at 2. We weren't getting sleep. She would wake up at like 2 in the morning, screaming bloody murder. Nothing could calm her down. She would say, get away from me, get away from me. I couldn't figure out what the heck was going on, and everyone was like, oh, night terrors. So I'm like, okay, maybe it's just some kind of phase. They're just having bad dreams. Also around this time, my daughter would look up at the doorways and she'd say, hi, and I'm like, who are you talking to? Who is that? And she'd be like, that's my mom and that's my dad. Also around this time, me and her dad were fighting. And when I say fighting, I mean fighting. Fast forward 1 year, I'm about to have my second baby, and toys start going off. One toy goes off, and I'm like, nope, not doing this. I threw it away. The next day, and I'm telling you, this toy was a toy that had like 17 different little soundtracks by Fisher Price. It'll be like, oh, blah, 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 it's the color. Instead, what it did was, no, I threw that away. I threw that away so fast. I was like, I'm not playing this. And then the next day, a different toy went off. And the next day, a different toy, and I threw it away. Each time I threw them away. I'm like, not doing this. I threw it away. A different toy went off. For 6 days, a different toy would go off. The last one I think I caught on camera was a piano. And on this piano, you have to touch multiple spots. You can't just touch one spot and the rest goes off. You have to touch multiple spots. And this piano was like, like just going off. So that freaked me out, but not to the point that like, you know, my God is greater. I don't have fear. I'm just like, come on, like what is inviting you in? Like, what are you following my daughter for? Or me, or whatever. So got freaked out. And I was telling my sister about it. I was also showing my sister this video of this bowl that I will play for you. I'll explain everything that's happening in that video. But let me get to my point. So we're watching this video and she said, okay, that's the bowl, but who's that? And you look at this video and it is a demon baby It disguised itself as a baby. It's my toddler's size. It has half of a face and it has hair. My daughter was bald. My daughter looked a lot like that. Everyone who knew my daughter knew she was bald. Bald. Bald little head. Bald head. So who is this baby sitting on my couch with hair when I clearly went out there and didn't see anybody? So if you look at this video, I'm going to point everything out here. If you look at this video, there's pixelation in 3 spots, and I don't know if it is 3 different entities or 1 entity divided. So here's my dog Callie on the couch. Here's Titan on the couch. Sorry if it's a little bit off. Pixelation right here. Then there's pixelation right here, hovering above the baby crib. And then it'll come over and there's pixelation, and you can see the actual figure standing here and a hand shove off this bowl. Then as the bowl falls back over here in the baby crib, this demon baby it didn't sit up. It came out of the couch, looked over, looked at the bowl, looked over, and I don't know if it was looking at my dog or us who was in the room, like right behind the dog, and then looked back at the bowl and then looked back at us. That's as far as I got, because when I recorded this, I didn't see anything. So I didn't look to see what happened after that. So after seeing that, I got spooked because something's in my house, something's trying to torment my kid. She's been having night terrors, which don't blow off your kid if they have night terrors. Do not blow off your kid if they have night terrors. It is a spiritual attack, okay? Listen to them if they say that they're talking to somebody and it's not your great granny who passed. It is a demon pretending to be somebody familiar so that you welcome them in and say, oh, that's no problem, it's just grandma or poppy. Don't do that. After that, I had my grandpa come and light the house. Everything was good after. Here and there, I still have instances where I go to sleep and things like start going off, or toys will go off, things will start falling, and it's always the bathroom. I don't know why, something always falls in the bathroom. Something falls in the bathroom and I go in there to check it out and nothing's out of place. Don't know what that's about. But I pray, I turn on worship music, and then I anoint my house. Every time, then it stops for a while until something else invites it back, I guess, or something else opens the door. But be serious. Be serious about the things that you watch, the things that you listen to, the things that you do to invite things into your house.
This person learned through their personal experience that a sundown town is a real fucking thing. And oh my God, it's so scary. Thank God for these people. Please watch this video and let me know what you think.
Being a truck driver in Florida, let me tell y'all the first experience I had of finding out what a sundown town was. It was a Thursday. I was driving a 26-foot box truck from Orlando to Gainesville. So I'm between Ocala and Gainesville, but I gotta stop and get some gas and get some food or whatever. But I see absolutely nothing as I'm driving. It ain't no houses, no buildings, just road and trees. I finally find this old ass Circle K gas station in the middle of nowhere. An old white lady that was helping me at the counter was sweet as can be, nice as hell. Hey baby, what brings you way out here in these sticks? You just coming to get some gas? I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of familiar with these parts, but kind of not, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to Gainesville. I'm just shooting through. I'm in and out. She's like, all right, baby, God bless. You have a good one. Get my stuff, go back out to the truck, try to put the key in there and start the truck up. It will not start up. I wait a few seconds, put the key in there again, try to start it up. It will not start up. Don't know what the fuck is wrong. So I call my dispatcher, and my dispatcher tell me to look up under the hood to see if I can figure it out. I'm just like, yeah, okay, whatever. So I say to myself, man, I'm not about to go look up under this fucking hood. I don't know what I'm looking for. I don't know what I'm looking at. I signed up to be a driver. I ain't no damn mechanic. But I'm sitting there for like 20, 25 minutes, so I get bored. I'm like, all right, man, let me just go look up under the hood, see what I can see. So as soon as I get out of the truck, go around, pop open the hood, and as soon as I look down, the lady that was helping me in there comes out in a panic. What's wrong, baby? Is everything okay? Are you all right? I say, yeah, ma'am, I don't know what's going on with the truck. It won't start up, and I don't know much about trucks. I called my dispatcher. I don't know what they're going to do. They figuring it out now. She was like, all right, well, do you need a tow truck or anything? Do you need an Uber or a taxi to take you closer into town? And I was like, no, ma'am, I'm not allowed to leave the truck. It's a lot of valuables on this truck, and I'm delivering. I can't just leave the truck. I can't just leave it. She was like, all right, I understand. And she goes back in the the gas station, but she keep looking at me, looking at her watch, looking at me, looking at her watch. And then she comes back out there and says, well, you don't want to sit up in some hot truck. You can't get it fixed. No AC. And there's nowhere for you to sit down in there. Like, so you're just going to stand out here and just sit in this hot truck? I said, honestly, man, right now, I don't have a choice. I'm just waiting for my dispatcher to hit me back. She said, okay, I understand. My dispatcher called me back and was like, listen, we got a tow truck coming out there in about 2 hours. Just sit tight. I'm like, damn, 2 hours is hot as hell. I'm ready to go. Then again, I was like, it's all right. I got food. I got drink here. The sun about to start going down. It's not going to be that hot, whatever. And I didn't want to go in the Circle K because of how the lady was acting. So I was just like, I'll be all right, whatever. She seen me get off the phone. She ran out to me again and she was just like, did you figure anything out? Do you know what you're going to do? I was like, yeah, my dispatcher said they got somebody coming in 2 hours for the tow. I'll be fine. She was like, 2 hours? The sun will be down by then. Are you sure they can't figure anything out before then? I was like, they said 2 hours. And she looked at her watch, went right back in the store. A few minutes go by, I get thirsty, so I ran in the store to go grab a Gatorade. As soon as I go in the store to get a Gatorade, she had her back turned and she was on the phone talking to the police, talking about, yeah, he's been here for a while, you gotta come get him, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't put two and two together until I bought the Gatorade and I left, and I was like, damn, she was calling the police. She was calling somebody on my ass. Like, what the fuck? So I called my dispatcher back. I'm like, yo, I don't know what's about to go down, but this old lady that worked at this store just been giving me problems or whatever. When she found out I wasn't going to be able to move my truck, I think she just called the police on me. I don't know what's about to happen, but can y'all fucking shake a tail feather? My dispatcher was like, why would she call the police? I was like, I don't know, and I don't want to find out. Can y'all hurry up? 5 minutes after I get off the phone, sure enough, the police pull up right behind my truck. A black police officer gets out and he asked me what's the problem, asked me what's going on. He assesses the truck and says, listen, I'm going to have to take you somewhere. I said, I can't leave my truck. Like, what are you talking about? You about to get me fired. He said, listen, I'm going to have to take you somewhere. Get in the truck. Get in the back of the truck. We driving for about 30 seconds. And I'm like, bro, where the fuck are you taking me? He was like, are you familiar with the mall area? He was like, that's a good area. I said, yeah, I'm familiar with the mall area. He said, yeah, that's where I'm taking you. I said, what the fuck you taking me to the mall for? I can't leave my truck. He said, you have to leave your truck. I said, why? Because that bitch called the police on me. I ain't even do nothing. He said, she didn't call the police on you. She called the police for you. I know her personally. He said, in 45 minutes, that sun was going to go down and you was going to go missing. And I ain't say nothing else. I already knew by then. I put two and two together by that point. When we finally got to the mall, I called my dispatcher and I told the officer, I'm like, yo, I need you to tell my dispatcher why I had to leave the truck. And he grabbed the phone and told my dispatcher everything, got on the phone, called my boss and told my boss everything just so I wouldn't get in trouble. The lady was scared for my life. Even the officer didn't even stick around. He like, yeah, I'm just gonna drive you out here. Cause he could have easily been like, well, I'm just gonna stick here with you so nothing happened to you. He was like, nah, nigga, we gotta go. We gotta go. Even when the tow truck guy came and picked me up, I told him where it was at. He put it in the GPS. He was like, yeah, I'm not going over there. I said, what the hell? He said, yeah, I'm not going over there that late. I'll come back and get it in the morning. Motherfuckers didn't want no part. But yeah, this was about 7 years ago, and I swear I think about that shit every other day. Damn near every day. And shit, I mean, because she could have just not said nothing. She could have just let me sit there. And I would have went missing like a mother.
This person has a ghost in their house that keeps opening and closing this door right now, and you can like see it, but this is one of those accounts where I'm not sure if this is supposed to be satire or if it's real, so let me know what you guys think.
Okay, I'm home alone. I'm trying to get some work done. I'm just gonna leave this here so you guys can see what's happening. No, this is a great time to be doing this. I'm not busy at all. This is a great distraction. Thank you. Leave it open. Stop touching it. Let me work, please. All right. Dude, I know you're back there. I want you to stop. Would you please leave my door alone? I don't care what you do or where you're going, just leave the door alone. Would you? I'm begging you. I'm gonna take the door off your hinges if you don't leave it alone. Here, I'm just gonna show you guys. There's nothing here. It's my front door, it's my hallway.
This person and their friend both saw a shapeshifter shapeshift with their own eyeballs. And she took a picture of this thing at the end. Please watch this and let me know what you think.
Hey, TikTok. I just want to tell a little story from yesterday. Yesterday I went fishing. I had my friend Josie as a passenger to go enjoy the land, the scenery, and whatever. We had a great day up there. After I was fishing and it was time to start slowly heading back to town, we went to go check the sandbar to see if the berries are growing this year. Like, we're hopeful for berry picking season this fall, right? And we went to the sandbar. We were looking around at berries. I saw a lemming that went into a hole, so I went to go stop at where I saw that lemming. I shut my Honda off, and we were just chilling for a minute. And suddenly, right when I looked the direction where Josie was looking, she said, "Takwin na ulat tualo," meaning, look at that person running. Like, we saw a person running. This person was wearing traditional clothing, had long hair, had like a band or a hat, and he was running with a gun or a spear. Like, we saw this for like 5 seconds. Like, we could see him running straight towards us. And then when it looked back at us, me and Josie were looking at this man who was running straight towards us. And then when he looked at us, he turned to the side and shifted into a caribou. Both me and Josie saw this clearly. It was like 30 feet in front of us. Like, it was fucking crazy. Like, I've never seen anything like it before. Josie said she's never seen anything like it before. That's when chills went down my spine. Like, I was freaking the fuck out. Like, I've never seen anything like this before. 30 feet in front of us, we see a man wearing traditional clothing, long hair, gun or a spear, holding it. And then when it saw us, it literally turned to the side and shifted into a caribou. I've never seen anything like that before. I've heard similar stories, but to see it with my own eyes, that was pretty darn sketchy. Like, I'm telling you, I'm telling the truth 100%. People can say I was hallucinating. People can say I'm making this up. But Josie, my friend, she saw it too. People can say all these things they want, but we saw what we saw. And then I took a picture as quick as possible. This was the picture I took of that caribou. That's the thing that shifted into a caribou. And when you look at it closely, that caribou was smiling. Like, it had a weird, distinct look to it. When we saw it in person, in the picture, it just looks like a caribou, but if you see it closely, it was staring and smiling so odd. Like, it was so creepy. I'm just still in disbelief of what we saw yesterday. Anyways, TikTok, I hope you guys enjoyed my little story about whatever I saw, shapeshifter, or whatever it is. In different dialects, they call it different things. Here, it's Izirak or something else, but in other dialects, I'm sure there's more stories, and I'd like to hear your stories in the comments.
This NPC is frozen in the middle of the road. The Matrix is glitching out, man. This person is definitely living other lives while they're sleeping in other timelines. I believe that that's something that we do. I have had so many stories of people doing this, like literally going to sleep and living a completely another life in another timeline while they are asleep. I know that there's other people out there too. Watch this video. Let me know what you think and let me know if this happens to you.
Everything I'm about to say is going to sound like a joke, but I am so dead ass when I ask, does anybody else go to work when they're asleep? Not your normal day job. Do you clock in at a different facility when you knock out? Because I do. And at first I thought I was just like, haha, so silly, I'm going to like the same place every night. No, like, guys, I don't know what the fuck is happening to me when I sleep, but I work at like a restaurant nightclub place. And it's the same place every time. It's like, I don't really remember the people in it, but it's low-key always the same staff. Like, I never wake up and I'm like, oh my god, there was a new hire last night. Like, I'm normally always, like, comfortable with the staff. What the fuck? What the fuck? This sounds unreal. So, I'm often at, like, this jazz club bar thing. And another place I go a lot is on this boat in the middle of the ocean. I can't explain, I literally can't explain. I can't explain this to you. Unfortunately, I can't explain this to you. It all just makes perfect sense in my head, but I want to explain this to you so bad because I know there's someone out there smart enough to understand my dreams. Oh, guys, I just want to tell you all the places I go. Like, there's like this airport school that I go to. This school airport place with elevators and then also like New York City is outside of the airport, but it's just like this long strip. Guys, if you care, I will fucking draw this out and like make an in-depth video for you if you are genuinely curious. But like, I just need to know if anybody else is experiencing this unwillingly. I cried to my mom about it the other day because I was like, I don't know where I'm going when I am sleeping. Like last week I went on the boat place in the ocean and my friend's kid was with me and she wasn't even with me. I was like, where is my friend? I have her baby. I am kidnapping a child in my dream. And I wasn't. Like, we FaceTimed her mom so many times. Like,
that concludes our creepy compilation for today. If you like videos like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. But if you want to keep it going right now, you can check out this video or this playlist.